and welcome to today's video. I have been meaning to share this video with you for a while. It's a topic that I've had on my list for a really long time, and I feel like a beginner's guide to various things is something that I just really want to do. I feel like a lot of people might learn, take away, or just get something new to see and shop and maybe use from these videos. This is a series I intend on continuing to do, so let me know down below in the comments what you'd like for me to do next in the beginner's guide series. Today's video, as the title may have already told you, is the ultimate makeup brush guide. Now, I feel like when it comes to makeup brushes, there are a lot of people that are pretty confused about how many brushes to stock up on. There are also a lot of people that get intimidated and don't want to hoard on, buy, spend money on just way too many brushes. So I've made a list of 10 brushes that I think everyone needs to have. It is the kind of set that you can work with whether you're a beginner, as a pro even. When I travel, I try to not travel with too many brushes because, let's face it, I'm always struggling with packing light. The only thing I genuinely have mastered, especially this year with all of my travels, has been being able to pack my makeup light and nice enough. So I only take the bankable products, I only take my favorites, and my brushes are super minimal. So there's nothing like when I'm traveling, I'll open my pouch and there'll be a whole host of things that doesn't get used. Everything I take does get used. Okay, so let me not make this intro any longer. I have my 10 brushes sitting over here. Let me walk you through them. They're from different brands, and let's dive right into it. Okay, so first off, I have to tell you that Nykaa is having an Independence Day sale. This video is in collaboration with them. I will be adding links to all of these brushes from Nykaa.com down below in the info box. So make sure you guys check it out. They've really slashed their prices down. So I feel like this is a great time for you to go ahead and shop any of the products that you think you might like. I will be breaking down each of the brushes for you, how I use them, how you can use them too. Apart from that, they're pretty much from 4 or 5 different assorted brands over here. So let me just walk you through each and every one of these brushes and tell you how you might be able to use it too. Okay, first off, the extremely essential powder brush. This one over here is from Nykaa Beauty. It's the powder brush, but don't get me wrong, this is not just like a powder brush. You can use this brush to set your makeup in with a translucent powder, with a compact, with a loose powder, whatever it is that you use. But because of how nice and dense it is, it's also a brush you can totally use for a blush or just to multi-purpose things up. When I'm traveling, I always like to have one of these babies with me, which is nice and big. The key here is that the face of it is really nice and big, which means you can multi-purpose it, which means if your blush is gone on too hard, you can dim it down with the help of a nice clean plain brush like this. And sometimes when you're a beginner, your contour and your blush may not exactly blend very well. Taking another brush like this and just jamming it all up will really help you get that very nice, soft, blurry, blended look. So a brush like this is completely unmissable and should be there in everyone's kit, whether you're a beginner or a pro artist. So I've tried to keep almost all the brushes over here as from the super affordable drugstore category. There are 1 or 2 that are slightly more expensive. We'll touch upon them as we go ahead. This one over here is a brush from PAC. Now this one, as you can see, has a really nice dense tip, but it's not very long. The hair is not long. So again, it is something that can be used to multi-purpose. I have used this for my concealer. I have used this for a cream contour. And at times while traveling, I have also used this for my foundation. So I feel like it really depends on what it is that your preference lies in. Ordinarily, someone might not choose to use a brush that is this small for their contour, but you have to understand your face shape. I have a really small face, so when I pull my cheek in, I feel like that hollow is really small too. So it's important for me to use something with a small mouth but nice and dense. So I wouldn't use this for a powder bronzer or a powder contour, but I would definitely use this for a cream product. Also for cream blushes, this will be perfect. One of the biggest trends we've seen in the beauty industry over the past couple of years is your brow game. Okay, so this eyebrow brush is something that everyone has to have. This one is from PAC, I think. Yeah, this one is from PAC. It's EY number 222. This is really good as a brush. The reason I like this particular brush so much, and I'm going to tell you this just to keep in mind so that whenever you're shopping for a nice angled brush that you're going to use for your brows, you might be able to keep this point in mind. This tip in particular is really thin. Normally when you get eyebrow brushes, the hair is a little bit more thick, which is great, but then you can't multi-purpose it. With this, you can also do your eyeliner if you want to. So like multi-purposing your brushes is really important to me because I travel so much. I might also be for you because you might travel so much, or because you want to get the most of your money. Just make sure you clean your brushes on a regular basis and you can multi-purpose it between various product categories. That's really not going to be a problem. So as I was saying, this brush is really nice and pointed. It has a really nice thin, very sharpened finish. It's really sturdy. The brush hair doesn't like, you know, kind of go wavering out that sometimes it does with eyebrow brushes. Plus it has this little spoolie end on the other side, which is perfect and well and good and great because you can even like tame your brow hairs before you go in with the product. So a brow brush is an absolute essential. Okay, so very often I see a lot of my followers getting confused in what brushes to use while applying their eyeshadow. So my next 3 brushes are dedicated to just explaining to you what 3 brushes are essential, and you don't need to have 5,822 brushes to do your eyeshadow with. I do suggest you always switch your brows but while taking a different shade, but you can just clean your brushes after usage. So the next time you come back, you can use the same 3. Always. So I'm just quickly going to tell you what each of these 3 does. First step will always be to take something like this. This is also from PAC. This is a nice flat brush. A flat brush like this is really great to just kind of pat that color onto your lids. It's really great to just set that color in. If you're doing a smoky eye, you'll go all the way. If you're stopping somewhere in the middle, it's fine. Completely your style. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that a flat brush is really handy for you to go in and pack the color on, set it on your lid. Also, because this particular brush over here has not like a very long length of the hair strands, it's also something you can use to give your lower lash line a little bit of color. This is a brush that works really well to set that product in. I will link all of the products down below in the info box. Then I have this baby over here that is one of my favorites. It has slightly longer hair strands as compared to the first one, as you can see, but at the same time it's a little bit of a dome shape, and it'll help you kind of buff the color out, blend the color out. So if you're looking to add a different color towards the outer corner, whether lighter or darker, just smoothing it, all of it in and going into your crease, these are the kind of brushes you need to aim for. They work really well, especially because the hair strands are slightly bigger, which works well. And last but not the least, from this little eyeshadow trio that I'm showing you, is a really nice and small dome shaped brush. If you're someone who wants to give yourself that inner pop highlight like I do very often, a brush like this will come in super handy. Apart from that, if you want to add a little highlighter on like your brow bone and stuff like that, a tiny brush basically that has a nice dome shape or round shape will come in super handy for you. I'm feeling myself sweat a little because the AC's off, the fan's off, the light's on me, but it's okay. We've got a few more brushes to go. By the way, just wanted to throw in a mention over here. All of these are from PAC, and I actually very recently also bought myself one of these sets from Nykaa. This is a complete eye series brush set from PAC. I absolutely love the PAC brush sets, and this is about to be my second eye brush set, and I also have their face brush set. So I feel like PAC is like the Morphe of India, where they're really bringing great products to us at affordable prices. I feel like they're doing like a really good job in that department. So I bought myself another set because I feel like I always want to add more brushes to my collection. You know I'm a brush hoarder, you know that by now. I'm not encouraging you to be a brush hoarder and super quantity consumer like me, but I love brushes, so just putting it out there. So this one is the Nykaa concealer brush. Now I have a problem with this being called a concealer brush, and I'll tell you why. I love this brush, and if I'm going to use a brush for my under eyes, then it's always this one. This is like, I've tried a lot of brushes for my under eyes. I do use the beauty blender the most for my under eyes especially, but if it's a brush, it has to be this one. It has such a great hold over your under eyes. Now the reason I have a problem with calling this a concealer brush is because you don't realize that you can actually use this for a lot of other things. I've used this for eyeshadow, and this one time, I have to tell you, I was traveling and I could not find my brow brush, like one like this. Not this one, I had something else on me at the time, a pointed brush, an angled brush basically. I've literally like pinched the hair together like this. You can see it getting thinner. It's like this normally, and then I'm just pinching it together, and I've like dipped it in my brow product and used it. So this is a really great multi-purpose brush to have on hand. This brush I will highly recommend you get your hands on because it's just that good and it works really well for me, and I'm super particular about what goes onto my under eyes. So definitely recommending this one. I did tell you that I had just two. I have literally just two slightly more expensive brushes, but I didn't want to skip them just because they were slightly more expensive, because if you're in the mood to splurge, maybe you will go out and buy them. I have two brushes over here and they're both, well, this one is kind of multi-purpose. Okay, wait, let me go one by one. This one is a powder brush. This one is the 129 from MAC. Now, most typically I use this for my blush, but I also feel like it's something that could be multi-purposed into using loose powder and just going all over your face or in your highlight areas. Apart from that, because it has this really nice tapered end, I've also used this for highlighter a bunch of times. I love MAC brushes and this one is like one of my favorites. So I'm not necessarily going to say, oh, this and that and this and that. If I have to recommend just one MAC brush to you, this one is going to be it. And the second brush that I have is a Sigma brush. Now, if you notice, this is actually called the large contour brush, but I don't use it as a contour brush. Again, multi-purpose, love that about it. Please invest in tools that you can multi-purpose. This one I love to use as a blush brush. I'm sure you guys have seen me use it as a blush brush. I love it. I feel like it makes my like apples of my apples of my cheek really pop, and it's just super easy application because of the angle. It's really nice. It's not completely angled, it's like a little curved angle, so I kind of really like that about it. This one is also one of my favorite brushes, and I think we're down to the last two brushes. We have a stippling brush over here. Now, sometimes when I say stippling brush, I have my friends looking at me and saying, what's a stippling brush? Your stippling brush is basically one of these that has really nice, dense, thick hair, and it's round. So it's something that you can 100% multi-purpose. I've used this for foundation and I've also used this for a blush, like a cream foundation and a powder blush. So you can imagine that it works well with different finishes also. Apart from that, despite the long strands, it's something that will come in really handy with all kinds of blending. And a stippling brush is something that you can even use for like a little contour blending here and there. So it's just one of those like slightly, I wouldn't call it advanced, but like beginner, a little bit more towards intermediate, towards medium level. It'll come in handy once you get used to it. I'm sure of that. And of course, everyone loves highlighter. So how could I not include a highlighter brush in this entire, set of recommendations? This one is a fan brush. It's from Nykaa's own collection. And I'll tell you what I like about it most. Normally, fan brushes are like either, very like medium dense. I like my brushes to be really thick, like my fan brushes to be really thick and dense, or really nice and thin, through which I can then build up. This one is really nice and thin. It's not overtly dense, but the length of the hair is such that it really helps you play around with it and you can do more with it. And because it's nice and thin, you can also go into product with this on your brows without worrying about really loading up and caking up on your brows. Wow, I picked 10 brushes. Did I say 11 brushes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I thought I was recommending 10, but turns out I've been recommending 11 brushes. Sorry about that, I guess, or maybe it's a good thing. I've given you my recommendations. You know what I like. Now, this might help you shop as well. Go ahead and check out Nykaa's Independence Day Sale. I feel like you can really go ahead and make the most of it by shopping at the right time, by making the most of your coins. Go ahead. I will add all the links down below in the info box. Check it out. Buy what you need. You never need to overshop in life. You just need to make sure you're buying what you need and making the most of the things you're needing by making sure like you're buying multi-purpose products and multi-purpose tools. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Turn those bell notifications on. By the way, I also have giveaways going on right now on Instagram because we crossed 150k here on YouTube. So it's like, you guys know, whenever I do contests, you have to be a subscriber of my channel as well as a follower on Instagram. So make sure you guys are following me on Instagram. Go ahead and participate. Some really cool boxes being given out right now. Go ahead and join the giveaway party. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Love you guys. Bye.